Action. Okay. All right. Glad to meet you. I didn't even know how good your work was until this convention. So I saw your work on Sean when I was tattooing him. I was like, we should interview that guy. So tell everyone your name and where you're from.
Yeah, my name is Roey Pentagram.
Okay.
I'm from Israel. I have a tattoo studio in Tel Aviv.
Okay. And how can everyone get a hold of you?
You can, if you like my work, you can check it out on Facebook, on Instagram.
Okay. You have a website?
Yeah, I have also a website. It's pentagram-tattoo.com.
Okay.
Or Facebook or Instagram. It's Roey Pentagram, Roey Pentagram.
Okay. And there's like an email contact on your website?
Yeah, on my website.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a contact page.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
So let's start out with the basics. What got you into tattooing? What got you into tattooing?
What got me into tattooing?
Was it something you planned? Did you have other plans in life?
Actually, I was curious about tattooing since I was very young.
Okay.
It wasn't like today that you can see many people tattooed.
The big thing it is today.
Yeah, especially not where and when I grew up.
Okay.
So I was very curious about it, and when I was in my teen, I looked for a reference for my drawings. I used to draw since I was very little, and since tattooing was very curious for me, I bought some tattoo magazines to use them as.
What did you have
reference.
there in Israel?
Yeah, but it was very difficult to get them.
Okay, but what were they? Like, what are the names of them? Was it more European stuff, like Tattoo Dimension?
I remember Tattoo.
Okay. Tattoo is worldwide. That's like the biggest one.
Yeah. So I remember this, and I think Skin Deep.
Okay. Yeah, that's Britain. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember exactly which, but yeah. So I really fell in love in this. I didn't think that I will be a tattoo artist myself one day,
right?
But I really like the idea.
Why did you think it was like too intimidating, or did you think it wasn't?
No, I didn't think
enough
that
money.
I didn't think that I will get a tattoo myself. Not to mention to become a tattoo artist myself, but it looked very interesting to me. You know, this media, this kind of art.
Okay. So were you an artist, you know, and you drew stuff before tattooing, or did tattooing make you want to start?
No, just for me it was just like drawings, painting, but like something different than the art that I knew back then.
Okay.
So yeah, only later when I got my first tattoo when I was like 20, I started to get into this
form of art.
Yeah, more deeply.
Okay. So when did you start tattooing? What age?
I was 21 when I started. I got my first tattoo when I was 20, and a year later I started tattooing.
Okay.
So,
and how old are you now?
43.
Okay.
So yeah, that was like more than half of my life.
Right.
Since then. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, after I got my first tattoo, I kept good terms with the artist who tattooed me. And one day I went to visit him, and he asked me, "Okay, what do you do now?" He knew that I was very interested in that. And I said, "Okay, if you want, I can teach you how to tattoo, and maybe you can work for me."
Yeah.
So it was a very good opportunity.
Do you want to mention his name?
Yeah, his name is David Moreno.
Okay.
He also has a tattoo studio in Tel Aviv.
Okay.
And yeah, we're still good friends.
Okay.
He's a really nice guy.
Does he like the way that you've turned out with all your work and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, he taught me how to tattoo, and we worked together for a few years.
Okay.
And yeah, until I opened my own
I don't
place.
know how it is there in Israel, but you know, here a lot of people started doing a lot of flash, and then they slowly developed their style. Did you kind of do that?
The same. Yeah,
Okay.
We started with Flash, and then I started to do more freehand, and then after internet became more popular, then
Right.
we have more variety
People can
of
see your work.
options.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the designs and everything. So Flash is like for the old days,
Right.
but now we can do the quality and,
Okay.
and the level of the design is much higher. So
Okay.
so
Do a lot of people, they just come to you for what you have, or they come not knowing who you are?
yeah, most people that come to me, they know why they come to me, and they like my style,
Okay.
and I get a lot of custom and freehand requests.
Okay.
So yeah, but I always like also to get to use a good picture as a reference.
Okay.
So-
What, you mean like a portrait or like a nature scene?
Portraits or realism or
Right.
stuff like that. Yeah, I try to design, to do a lot of custom design by me.
Okay.
To design them myself, but I always happy to work from a good picture. From a nice
Okay.
picture.
No, that's good. I think it's good to be well rounded like
Yeah.
that. I noticed you're into heavy metal. You've been wearing a lot of heavy metal
Yes.
shirts. So, that was one thing where it was like, that impressed me. Do you think that influenced your style a bit?
Yes, definitely.
Do you have kind of more of a dark, creepy style?
Yeah, I prefer I have the attraction to the dark side.
Right.
Of course, this is not the only thing that I do,
Okay.
because that mostly depends on the client. But yes, I think that metalheads and people that attracted to horror and creepy stuff, they usually like tattoos more than others.
Right.
So that's a win-win for
Okay.
us. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So, what bands would you say are your favorites? Like what-
Iron Maiden, definitely.
Iron Maiden?
Yeah, but I also like many other bands like Black Sabbath, Jesus
Okay.
Christ, more heavier stuff. I listen also to black and death music. But,
Okay, awesome.
But yeah, heavy and thrash metal.
What
my
death metal
favorite.
bands do you like?
I like Dayside, Morbid Angel.
Okay.
Yeah, from the black.
Do you like
metal
Voltor?
bands.
Voltor is one of my favorites.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And Unleashed. Unleashed is one of my favorites as well.
It's very good.
So, do you mostly do black and gray?
Yes, I stopped doing colors almost completely, maybe 10 years ago.
Okay.
So I would say that 99% of the works that I do is black and gray.
Mhm.
Once in a while I get requests for something in colors, but I try to do it like let's say 90% of the work would be black and gray,
Yeah,
and
kind
then
of
I
like
put
the
some
Buena Vista Surgical thing where you do like
of
hints of
colors,
color.
but
Yeah.
it wouldn't be like a color piece.
Right.
It will be like hint of colors. Sometimes
Okay.
I have to do cover-ups of old color tattoos, so I have to use some color.
Okay.
But and sometimes also if I do a tattoo with a few motifs that I feel that if I add some color, it will
It has a
help
little
them
impact.
separate from each
Yeah.
other and make some kind of a contrast between motifs, and I add a hint of color.
Okay. Do you use any true gray too? Like I use that a lot in cover-ups. If it needs to be black and gray,
Yeah,
I'll use true gray.
Yeah, I usually use just gray wash, but if I need, I do more opaque gray.
Okay.
I-
Do you have a favorite brand that you like, black, that you feel waters down nicely?
These days I use Intense,
Okay.
Intense True Black. I
Okay.
really like them. I also tried Silverback
Right.
and Radiant.
Okay.
I used to work with Victor Portugal, gray wash.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, he's
it's-
awesome. Yeah.
it's really nice. Really nice. I really
Okay.
like it. Yeah, but Intense True Black is the I like to mix.
One of your favorites?
I like to mix my gray wash myself. So
Okay.
so I found out that Intense gives me exactly what I need. Also, when I do stuff that I needed to stay clean, like lines and and I think that intense is.
It works the best for you. Do you use a rotary or a coil machine or both?
I'm still with coils.
Coils.
Yeah,
okay.
I try to work with rotary, but I got back to
not
the
for you.
coils.
Yeah.
I'm kind of old school.
Right.
So I think that the coils,
Okay.
it's more for
The
me.
coils definitely have more punch. You know.
Yeah.
What do you use? You use a lot of round shaders. You use a lot of mags. You use curved mags.
Usually, let's say that most of my work is with the mags.
Okay.
For some of the work, I use the soft edges, the curved mugs.
Okay.
But especially when I need to do textures and stuff like that, I found out that the straight mugs are easier for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I also use the round, but usually for line works and for small details.
Okay.
Less for packing colors and
Right. Okay.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Good. So I noticed you go mostly one session. Do you more than one session? Do you layer it?
Depends on what I do.
Okay.
Sometimes I have to separate it if it's too big to
right.
do it. To do
Well, I
it
notice a
one.
lot of people, like even if it's fairly small, they do two sessions because they feel like they can't really get a look for how dark it is and how it heals
Yeah,
up.
sometimes I give a second pass
Okay.
with some of my works, but I think that it's easier for me, especially when I do freehand work, to work in one session, one long session, or
Okay.
two days in a row,
Okay.
because I need to stay in the state of mind of what I do, because if a few weeks pass, I might find myself
You lose your
doing.
concentration.
Yeah,
and
then it might look like two pieces
Right.
inside one piece.
Well, I noticed one thing you do is you put hard, sharp outlines on stuff. You know, so it's not like a lot of people, since they don't know how dark it heals up, they kind of need to see it for the second session because it might be too light. Whereas
Yes.
you have like this hard, dark outlines, so even if some of it heals light, it still pops out.
Yeah, so I found out that after a few years, the good old realism doesn't stay so good.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Especially color realism.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a few years ago, I understood that I prefer to, even if it takes out a little bit of the realism of the
Okay.
work, but I would prefer it to stand out after 10 years, 15 years.
Right.
And with strong lines,
Right.
it's
That helps
just
it. Yeah.
it just stays better.
Well, they have like originally I wanted to do comic books, and they have kind of a comic book thing that I use in doing black and gray, which is use thicker lines for stuff that's right next to you, and when
Yes.
it gets further away, you use thinner
So
lines.
yeah, of course that depends of
play the
of the work.
focus a little
Yeah,
bit,
but
yeah.
especially if I do a few motifs
Okay.
inside a piece, then I like to separate them with
Okay.
lines, and then sometimes I play with the thickness
Right.
of the line. So some of the motifs will get thicker, and some of them will get thinner lines, and some of them I won't do lines at all.
Right.
Especially stuff that are in the background, the motifs that are less
Yeah, 'cause you
focused.
put lines everywhere. It's like, where's Waldo? It's like,
Yeah,
you can't make out.
I like to refer them as like actors in a show.
Okay.
Like the main actor will get the thicker, the stronger lines.
Right. That's a
and
good
then
way
you
to think of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you get the actors are less important in the background.
Right.
So they will get thinner lines or no lines at all.
So they add a little bit to the story, but
Yes.
they aren't the main story.
And then the eye understands
Right.
what it sees.
What to focus on and so on. Okay. Well, this is getting a little bit long, so you know we'll finish it up. Tell everyone how to get a hold of you.
Yeah. So the best way to get me is Facebook or Instagram. I try to check it all the time. So it's Roey Pentagram, ROEY Pentagram, PENTAGRAM.
Okay. Thank you very much for doing this
Thank
interview.
you very much.